Hey there, I'm Dr. Nate Bosch, and with me here today is...
Hi, I'm Emily.
Emily works at the Lilly Center for Lakes and Streams. Tell us
Mhm.
about your role at the Lilly Center.
So, I'm a college student in studying environmental science, and I work on the education team here at the Lilly Center. I've gotten to work there for 3 years, and I really love getting to talk to kids, whether it's in class or outside or even in their own libraries.
And that's what we're going to talk about today
Yeah.
is our Lake in the Library program. Tell us a little bit about that program and how it works.
Yes, our Lakes in the Library program is one of my favorites. In this program, we have collaborated with different elementary schools and our own aquarium team. What we do is we provide 40-gallon aquariums to different elementary schools here in Kosciuszko County. With us today, we have a 10-gallon, but you're going to have to use your imagination to pretend it's 40 gallons. Here with us today, we have one of those fish tanks. It's really cool because we get to use this fish tank as a focal point to talk to the kids about different environmental concepts that help them become water literate citizens and be good stewards of the really cool community around us. The particular lesson we're going to talk about today with you guys is the one that we use with a lot of our fourth graders. In this lesson, we introduce the kids to the aquarium and we talk about the filters in our aquarium. With our filter, we have 4 main parts that we talk to the kids about. We have a heavy black base that keeps the filter back in the corner of the tank. Inside the base, we have a core that connects the rest of the pieces. We have this sponge connected to our core and our base, and it kind of feels like a kitchen sponge that you might use to clean your sink, but it's doing an important job. Our filter also has an air tube that pumps in air. The air helps the filter start absorbing the water and pumping the water through this sponge, and that's how we can start cleaning the water. What's really awesome is our filters help take out the things we don't want in our fish tanks. For example, we don't want extra food, we don't want extra fish waste, we don't want any dangerous chemicals, and we don't want any decaying organic material in there.
Decaying organic material, as the name would suggest, is decaying organic material. Organic material are things that once were living and now they're starting to decompose or decay. So, in an aquarium like this, or even in a lake, we could have feces from the fish. We could have little bits of plants that break off and then they start to decay. That would be decaying organic material. It could be a little zooplankton or an algal cell, a phytoplankton cell that dies and it starts to decompose. That decaying organic material starts to then eventually give off nutrients as it decays. Things like nitrogen. One type of nitrogen, ammonia, that comes off pretty quick in the decaying process can be toxic to things like these fish in this aquarium. So as those ammonia levels start to grow, the fish can start to get sick. And so there's bacteria that live in those filters that they're called nitrifying bacteria, and they're actually moving from ammonia to nitrite, and then eventually to nitrate. So ammonia is NH3, moves to nitrite, NO2, and then eventually to nitrate, NO3. And NO3 is not toxic to the fish like the ammonia is. And so moving it in that direction makes the water healthier for the fish to live in it. And those nitrifying bacteria live in nature as well.
So the reason why we teach kids about filters is because we can make the analogy between the artificial filters in their artificial aquariums to the real life filters that we see in our environment. Here in Kosciuszko County, we have a lot of real life filters and we call those wetlands.
Yeah, so wetlands, sometimes we call them sponges or kidneys. It gets at the fact that wetlands in terms of water, will absorb water and then slowly release it. You can almost think of a sponge. Emily mentioned a sponge in the kitchen. You could have a sponge that you get filled up with water and you set it on the counter, and slowly over time, maybe a little puddle starts to develop where that water is slowly seeping back out of the sponge. Initially, it soaks it all up and then it gives it back off slowly. That's what our wetlands do in nature. And so we have a big snow event that then melts, and a big runoff event as a result. We might have a big thunderstorm that moves through, and so we're going to let that water come into the natural environment a little bit more slowly into a receiving body of water like a lake or stream. It's also like a kidney. A wetland can absorb and filter out toxins, just like kidneys filter out things in our body that are not helpful to us. And so in the environment and in our fish tanks, we have these filters.
It's really helpful to have both filters in our environment and in our wetlands because, like Dr. Bosch said, they help keep our ecosystems nice and clean.
So Emily, in an aquarium like this, what happens if we have too many nutrients, like those ammonia and nitrate?
If we have too many nutrients, it's not going to be the best conditions for our fish. If there's too many chemicals like that ammonia, it can chemically burn the fish if there's too much of it present in the water. So when we have too many nutrients, it can hurt the fish. It can also cause an excess growth of algae, and we would see algae start to grow all over the sides and surfaces of our aquarium. Since our aquariums are like models of real-life lakes, what happened to those lakes when they also have excess nutrients present?
So some of the same things happen in our lakes when we get excess nutrients. Primarily, we're looking at phosphorus often in our lakes. And when we get more phosphorus coming in, we get more algae growing, just like in an aquarium and a lake, same sort of thing. Sometimes that algae can be toxin-producing algae and can be harmful to people and their pets. Also, excess phosphorus can cause a lot of weeds to grow, kind of like what we have here in our aquarium, but it can start to fill the whole water column and kind of choke out other things in our local lakes and make it hard to recreate in our lakes as well. So the moral of the story is that we love wetlands. Wetlands help keep water pure and clean as it moves into our lakes and streams. Just like in our aquariums, we love those filters because those help keep the water clean, keep our fish healthy, and have great programs like our Lake in the Library program.